There's not a lot of places on our planet that could be called unearthly. You know, locations so unique that they could be mistaken with another planet. But well, luckily there is some, and today we get to bring you along on one of them. Our today's adventure starts in a little town called Uyuni. Let's just say it's an interesting place. Full of trash, constant sandstorms, it's cold, can't wait to get out of here. We had booked ourselves a 3-day tour in Bolivian outback. Time to finally leave Uyuni. And honestly, we thought it would be fun. Why I say we thought is that we always book our tours in Spanish. And well, this means that we really don't understand the itinerary. And the first big stop of our adventure was gonna be Uyuni Salt Flats. Although it may look like a desert, and it even may look hot when the sun is out, it is not. There's currently 5 degrees Celsius out, and it's the middle of the day. At night it will fall way below zero in here. So the thing that was actually scaring us was the fact that we paid only about $100 for this 3-day tour. And since we didn't understand the itinerary, we were not really sure what kind of tent we were gonna sleep in this cold night. But we did our best to enjoy the scenery, because the salt flat itself was absolutely amazing. It lays in over 3.6 kilometers of altitude and is the biggest salt flat in the whole world. It's crazy, we're going over 80 kilometers an hour and you just can't tell because there's nothing around you. It's just salt everywhere. We have made it to a place that is known as the island. I know it might sound weird, but once upon a time it was not the flat. Thousands of years ago it was actually a lake in a high altitude, and then this part was an island in a lake, and that's why it's still called an island.
Don't.
That was so close.
Don't.
Never in my life have I seen a cactus being a part of the wall and a door made of cactus.
You can't find these things anywhere else.
Oh my gosh, it just looks unreal. The nature on the island was just unique. I have never seen anything like this. There was just one question still on my mind. How did all of this salt get to such high altitude? Because the ocean was nowhere near to be found. But before I could find the answer, our guide had a bit of a different plan. He decided to show us something that thousands of tourists come here for. We have made it to one cool place. One of the main things why a lot of tourists come here is to take amazing perspective photos, and I'm gonna show you how it looks like. Uyuni is considered to be the flattest place on Earth, and as it is only one color, it creates the perfect conditions to trick our brains into losing perspective. And so, with a little creativity, one can make amazing photographs and videos. So now we're all gonna look a little bit up, and that's when we realized we can't fight the dinosaur. taking those photos. It's so fun. I hate taking photos, but you can get creative. You can do anything your mind that like comes up with. Honestly, the only limitation here is your imagination. Those colors are so beautiful. Do you think Liisu feels like dancing, or she's just super cold? Yes. It's just so hard capturing this experience here. It kind of feels like you're in the middle of the ocean. There's nothing all around you, yet you can walk on it. There's no waves. It's crazy how flat it is, and due to this, when it's the rainy season, what happens, the whole area is covered with water, and this here becomes the biggest mirror in the world. 10,000 square kilometers of mirror. And as it looks like, first night we're gonna end up in somebody's garage. I'm surprised. We turned into a garage, but it's like a castle. She's not serving soup, she's warming her hand with a pot.
Allez, c'est un truc très convivial. C'est chaud. Toi, t'as les mains chaudes.
Ah, ça va en vrai.
We just woke up on our second morning in our salt hotel. Mistake. As we started our second day, we really didn't know what to expect. The landscape around us was hostile, it was cold, and the wilderness seemed to be empty of any sorts of life. So yesterday we left one question in the air, and it was, how the heck did the salt get up here? 3.7 kilometers from the sea level. And the answer lays all around us. So if you see that thing over there, that thing over there, that thing, these are all volcanoes, and over millions of years they've been erupting minerals, and as the minerals came out, some of them just turned into salt and gave this extreme saltiness to those high altitude lakes. And once they evaporated, what stayed behind is salt. As we continued on a cold and empty wilderness, none of us really believed when our guide said that there are animal species here who also live in Africa. How could it be possible? It was -degrees outside, and the fact that our guide was changing the tire at the same time didn't add credibility to his words. Yes, we accepted the fact that there was llamas up here. But same animals as in Africa, we needed to see that ourselves. It's crazy, the lake is frozen, but there's still flamingos on there. And there they were, whole flock of flamingos. Yes, they didn't look happy in the last unfrozen part of the lake, but our guide was right. Just unreal. We've been driving for the whole day and the landscapes are crazy. Never seen anything like this. And with every kilometer forward, we seemed to find something new. From salt lakes, half frozen over, to cold deserts, where stone giants stood next to each other. Being in such open landscapes just makes you feel small, and this in the best way possible. And just when we thought that we couldn't be surprised anymore, we reached the height of 5 kilometers. And up there, something extraordinary. First off, a steam geyser. And although I could say that we wanted to look sexy like Marilyn Monroe, then that's not the truth. After 2 days of sitting in a car, it was just fun jumping over the hot vent. But what came after the hot air vent was even more impressive. We could see the volcanic activity all around us. First of all, I never expected to be on a geothermal field like this. And secondly, if you see places like this in Iceland, there's gonna be a border, like you can't go any closer. In here, there's 90-degree mud over there. And if you're stupid enough, you can put the finger in. It felt weird, standing in the middle of this field, knowing that any moment one of the geysers could erupt and basically cover us in hot mud. We made it to our second camp quite late, and as it is 5 kilometers from the sea level, it is really cold in here. But the wonderful thing is that we have natural hot pools. We just spent over an hour there and it's absolutely amazing. Now some dinner and ready for tomorrow. Next morning came with new surprises. I think I've never slept in such a cold room in my life before. All of the clothes that we had worn in a hot springs the night before had completely frozen. It really felt good to get going on a third morning. And the third day itself did not disappoint. There was more beautiful landscapes, more horseplay, and just like this, our journey to Bolivian wilderness was coming to an end. We came here to see the biggest optical illusion our planet has to offer, but what we got was so much more. But I guess that's how it goes in life. As long as you leave a little bit of room for good things to happen, they most likely will.